Hello everyone, this is Henry Tenby, and what I'm presenting here is an original I believe it's a 1970s era Westway cutaway, a CPR 747 Classic, CFCRA. This model belongs to a fellow collector here in Vancouver that he acquired a few years ago in very rough condition. The exterior of the model had to be completely refurbished at great expense. And what you see here is the final product. It is now a magnificent model, and I'm going to give you a tour of what this model is all about. So I'll just stand up here. The model's sitting on a couch, so you can get a feel for the size of this monster. It's about it is actually a 1/72nd scale model. Only the port side is cutaway. The starboard side is solid, and this is how the model looks. You can see it's very high gloss finish. I organized the refinishing of the model with experts here in Vancouver, and it was finished to a very high gloss, automotive, high UV clear coat using the latest aerospace grade paints and lacquers and clear coats. And it has actually more than one clear coat. There are multiple clear coats on this to give that very dark, deep, rich finish, which you are seeing here on the model. So this model is definitely of museum grade and will present beautifully for many decades to come. Now, what I can tell you is that there are no sags on the wings of this model. Some models of this era have saggy, grotesque wings. The leveling on these wings is absolutely fantastic, as it should be. It's beautiful and gorgeous. So you can see that our lines are all looking good here. Now, the interior cabin was completely mint when the model was acquired. It was only the exterior that was properly thrashed. So luckily, the actual shell, these models are made as a shell, was completely intact. So there are no loose pieces or missing pieces or damaged pieces on the interior cabin of the aircraft. So if I'll take you inside to have a detailed look here. There's a flight attendant in the rear cabin. Then we move into the center section. You have another flight attendant there. And then we've got another galley. And we have an executive class upper deck. We've got some first class seats at the forward section there. My favorite seat, row 2A. Getting hard to fly on 747s these days, of course, but this model really does present the era of wide-body flying as it was presented at the maximum peak of the heyday of the 747 Classic. Now, I'm going to see if I can get you up close into the flight deck. It's very difficult, actually, but there are pilots in there. There he is. And there's a strange setting for there's two seats. And I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but that's how this model was built. Now, the perispecs, we actually have, I'm going to point them out. It's in not bad condition, but I've got a minor flaw there, a scratch, which I've not been able to polish out. And then we have another scratch right here. So it is what it is. But again, the model is still a very, very gorgeous model. Moving down to the cabin subfloor area, we do have a cargo hold here with some number 2, number 5, 2s, 3, and 4. So those would be, I guess, lower deck pallet positions. I'm not sure. But the interior presents beautifully. You can see there is a circular staircase here. And yeah, so we've got some lavatory and another set of lavatories here. So the model really is absolutely fantastic. It is probably the nicest model of this stature. Now, I do need to point out something, another enhancement that we made. When this model came to us for refurbishment, the exhaust cones were missing, completely missing. So what we did is, at a fair expense, we had aluminum, these are aluminum cores that were turned on a lathe and custom made. So these are beautiful, just like the real aircraft, aluminum exhausts. And we installed them, I don't know if you can actually see, but they are installed kind of in a secret way. So they look like they're just hanging there, but we used thin cores and epoxied them to the very front of the engine, and you can't see that. That's all hidden. So it gives the effect that the exhausts are exactly as they should be on the real aircraft. So this is an enhancement over the Westway models delivery to their customers of these models back in the 70s when they were just pieces of plastic. So it's actually a real cool enhancement, these beautiful metal exhausts. So that's kind of neat. And as I say, the model looks beautiful. It's certainly a unique piece. I have never seen one like it before in CP livery. It originated somewhere here in the lower mainland of British Columbia. So it must have been a gift from perhaps Boeing, and has been here for the last 50 odd years or 45 years. The model would date, I'm going to say, from the mid 1970s. And they're hard to find. These are very expensive models. Back in the day when they were made by Westway models, they were costly. And not many of them survive in any shape, let alone, of course, being restored to museum-grade condition like this. What I should also point out is that the model, for some strange reason, Westway models only put a little tiny hole in the bottom for a $5 tripod to be mounted, which doesn't kind of make sense, given that these models were so bloody expensive. So I believe that these models were, or this particular model was tied with string and hung from a ceiling, suspended from a ceiling, as opposed to kept on a little tiny $5 wire tripod. So the model is without a stand. Any purchaser that would want to upgrade the stand, of course, could make an investment and have a professional heavy grade floor stand produced. But that is not included in the sale of this model. So that brings me to the conclusion. The model is offered for sale. We are soliciting offers for the seller. And if you are interested in the model, I'd be happy to present your offer for his consideration. But I do suspect that the model will sell fairly quickly given the uniqueness of it and the rarity, and it will certainly prove to be a fairly worthwhile investment in future years, just because they're so rare and CP Air is such a rare livery. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to make an offer for the model for your collection, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. My email is at henrytenby@gmail.com. And thank you very much for watching this very cool model in this video. If you're a collector of professional aircraft display models, consider my new book for your library. It's the Aircraft Display Model Collector, Investor, and Appraisal Guide, available at henrytenby.com.